Hey guys, I'm back with another candle review, and this time around it's for the 14.5 ounce 3-wick Fall and Bloom candle from Bath & Body Works. This is the new single fragrance launch fragrance from BBW, so it is the body care fragrance, and it comes with a matching 3-wick candle, which I was excited for. I don't believe this has showed up online for some reason, but it is readily available in stores. So the notes on this read, Juicy Plum, Wild Blooms, and Velvet Moss. So yeah, this is very redundant, which seems to be very much the case with all their body care, like signature collection, so to speak, fragrances these days. It just kind of like smells like something that we've had before. And I guess they're just really playing it safe. That's just what it is. I shouldn't expect anything different at this point, but you know, I'm still a collector and I still enjoy like collecting and buying and burning the body care fragrances. So I still do get them, but it's just like every time I do get them, I'm just kind of a little underwhelmed by the fact that they smell so similar to things that we've had before. So in this case, what does it smell like? It's very similar to Dahlia and In the Stars. So if you like either Dahlia or In the Stars, I would check this one out. It borrows the same fruity notes from both Dahlia and In the Stars, and then it borrows the floral note from Dahlia, and then it borrows the sort of like dry down, woodsy pepperiness of In the Stars, and it's kind of like the merging of the two fragrances, and that's what you get here. So what you get first is like a juicy fruitiness. It says plum. It kind of gets a little lost when you go to burn it because there's just so much of a floral and woodsy presence that comes out after that the plum does get a little lost, but it's still there. There's still definitely something like sort of fruity or sweet about it. Very traditional BBW like fruity floral body care for sure. But yeah, you do get a juicy plum fragrance. It's very much captured in the lid when you smell it, but a little bit more diluted when you go to smell it when it's burning. But then it gets mixed with like a slightly like sugared citrus note is what I get in there as well, which is not unlike the sugared tangelo note that we had in the Stars. So there is definitely a fruitiness at the beginning, but then afterwards you get this very, very, very heavy floral fragrance to it. It has a very similar like bitter like mum petals or dahlia petals type of fragrance to it. So dahlia often tends to have like a bitter fragrance that usually comes from both the stems and the leaves, and then it also has a similar bitter fragrance that you would find from like a autumn like mum type of fragrance. So you definitely get that same bitter floral fragrance that you get from both dahlia and like a mum's type fragrance that you would find in the fall time. So you definitely get that a lot for sure. It's a little bit mature and it's a little bit more, I guess, heavy, warm, and cozy is the way I would put this floral as. And then lastly, you get like a woodsy pepperiness mixed in there that's similar to the woodsy pepperiness of In the Stars. In the Stars, I believe, had like sandalwood and agar wood in it, I believe. And it has a similar type of almost like peppery, distinctly In the Stars type of peppery woodsiness comes through very strongly afterwards as well. Very much like when you use the fine fragrance mist, you get the sweeter, like fruity, floral fragrances at the beginning, but then on a dry down, it very much dries down to that same peppery, woodsy fragrance that you get from In the Stars. And once again, it's sort of like warm or cozy, and peppery is definitely a word that comes to mind. So I feel like in the candle, definitely the floral and the woodsy notes are stronger than the fruitiness, but the fruitiness still gives it a slight sweetness in there. So yeah, when you go to burn it, it's pretty like the more it develops, and by the second and third hours, it really does just smell like I've In the Stars going on in the house, and I'm just like, oh, here we go again, because I didn't love In the Stars, especially in the candle. There was just something very peppery about it, and this follows that same trend of that In the Stars candle, that it's very, very similar to In the Stars. So if you love that In the Stars candle, I would definitely check this out. And if you do like Dahlia, I feel like the sort of like the opening fragrance, especially in the body care, is a little bit closer to Dahlia than what translates into the candle, but there's still similarities or traces in there from the Dahlia fragrance. So especially in that kind of like bitter mums, bitter Dahlia petals type of vibe. So that's pretty much what this smells like. Kind of redundant, but if you like those fragrances, check it out and let me go into the performance. This is, I believe, a fourth burn, and I'm just like so relieved that I can finally smell a candle. So I've been burning a lot of Homeworks candles like this past week, and pretty much like solidly Homeworks, and this was kind of like in between all the Homeworks burns because I just got it very recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually like finally smell a candle, so I was excited about that. So yeah, this one has the thick rope-like wicks, and it has been rather, you know, a hot, vicious burn that we normally get with the thick rope-like wicks. It does suck quite a bit. You definitely want to trim it. Don't trim it too much because then they tend to nub out, but just the usual like just cut the mushroom top off and you should be good to go. And it does exhibit quite a bit of soap by the end of the first hour into the second hour. The usual performance on these type of BBW candles. And yes, as for the throw, I can smell it, so I like that. Definitely in the good like 6.5 to 7, 7.5 range, somewhere in that range. Definitely like in the medium to strong range, which I appreciate. Really just is very similar performance to In the Stars. In the Stars also had a pretty like strong, like that pepperiness really came through. This has a similar feel to that. So definitely like the 6, 7 type of range. So we're good to go there. Overall, it's a one and done for me. Very beautiful packaging and very beautiful coordinating lid on it. But that's pretty much it for me. The fragrance isn't bad. It's like still pleasant enough. It's just very redundant to all the fragrances that I've already mentioned. So it's just kind of like I already have In the Stars in my collection, and so I have Fall in Bloom now too as well. So it is what it is. I don't really need another one, and it's here while it's out in stores. So check it out. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.